How's it going, my Planet Poke people? It's me, Deogenz, here with Pokemon of the Week. This week, I've got an excellent Uber sweeper for you that can eliminate even the toughest of legendaries seen in this tier. It's Excadrill. Can you dig it? With this Richter set, you can break down even the toughest of walls with brute force. Using Swords Dance, you can get your base attack up to 700 plus. So utilize it when it makes sense most. Throw it out onto the field, not when you're going to encounter one of its weaknesses. Otherwise it'll be a waste of your efforts because note, it doesn't have amazing defense or special defense. It's purely sweeper material with its massive 135 base of attack. So max out EVs on attack, max out EVs on speed so you get the one-up on your opponents. And if you're looking for more opportunities to switch in with this poke to set up properly, you might want to consider attaching air balloons. This item will allow Excadrill, as massive as it is, being a ground steel, to float so that ground moves, normally hitting it with 2 times super effectiveness, to miss. Note, when it is struck by a move that isn't ground, the air balloons will pop, and you won't have that levitation temporary ability anymore. But, while we're on the topic of levitation, you might want to include Mold Breaker in this set, similar to how Haxorus had it in our past week's EV sets, because with Mold Breaker, levitation will not stop Excadrill from wrecking the Richter scale as this set entails. Now, on top of Earthquake, you might want to include Rock Slide and Iron Head, and of course Swords Dance to get up to that 700 plus base attack. But while I'm talking about these 3 types of moves, Rock, Ground, and Steel, I do also want to point out to you an alternative to your abilities that you might want to consider besides Mold Breaker, and that is Sand Force. I haven't included it on this set because ideally I'm setting up this Excadrill to be a one-poke sweeper, not really dependent on anything but its own prowess. However, if you're running a Sandstorm team, say maybe you've got Tyranitar in your mix, then this might be something to consider because what it does is give a 30% attack increase to moves that are ground, rock, or steel, just like Iron Head, Rock Slide, and Earthquake. So that's a way to up your power right when you enter onto the field, but do keep in mind you need a Sandstorm to complete this. The next set in this week is the Drill at Will set, where we move around a bit of the effort values and try and make it so that Excadrill has some staying power on the field. Now of course it doesn't have great defensive stats, we've been over this, but with the addition of Substitute, you can actually set up on your opponents and use Excadrill to blow away any setups that may be from your opponent's side in the way of Stealth Rocks, while still doing a decent amount of damage. I encourage you all to continue to max out that attack stat. This way you'll do the most amount of damage on those that try to stop you, who come onto the field and try and blow away your sub. You can blow away back with Earthquake and Mold Breaker to make sure that levitation won't be an issue. The investments in special defense are mainly to combat those water types, fire types, and even the fighting type Focus Blast that may be coming your way in order to squash your sweeping setup. Now if you ask me which set do I prefer, Drill at Will or Richter Wrecker, I prefer Richter Wrecker. That's just my battle style. I'm more purely offensive, but for those who like to get strategic, this can be an interesting set to use. So let me know in the comments below or with a video response, have you used this exquisite Excadrill in the past? And if so, how have you raised its EVs? And on the topic of EVs, next week my Effort Value Expertise series will premiere with the intro video that breaks it on down what effort values actually are and how and what you need to properly raise them up. So check me out on that channel, youtube.com/Deogenz, and remember as always to subscribe to Planet Poke for this and other awesome Pokemon content. See you in the future.